what do you do when you're in the midst of the season? Well, that is what I call your halftime moment. And halftime is when you take time out in an existing season to make your adjustments, to change your strategies, to change your perspectives, maybe tone it up, or maybe tone it down. Whether you're ahead of the game or it's a tight game or you're losing, in that halftime moment, you have to make adjustments. And so you look at what happened in the first and second quarter. What did you do in the beginning of that season? If you watch sports, you know at halftime. Basketball has halftime. Football has halftime. Every major sport has a time where you rest, where you reflect, recalibrate, readjust, refocus, rededicate. Here's the challenge, is that we don't build half times into our life. And so we run every day, cycles, or we go through schedules, or we go through routines every single day. And if you're not careful, you'll wake up 3 years, 4 years, 5 years later. It's like, what happened? Where did the last 3 or 4 years go? And the reason why is because the system has dumbed you asleep enough that you don't realize that you're losing the most valuable asset, which is time. Oftentimes, God loves us so much that He will create a halftime moment in your life. Maybe you've gone through a situation, you get laid off, you get fired, you get sick. And for a season, you're doing nothing. That's halftime. Stop complaining, stop crying. Listen for the adjustments, because you're going back out there third or fourth quarter. The voluntary halftime is what I want to leave with you, and I want to encourage you. Take time. Take a weekend. Take a few days. Turn off the TV. Turn off the internet. And just listen and say, what would I like the next 2 or 3 years of my life to look like? What about the next 6 months? What about the next 90 days? Script it out and say, here's the plan. I'm going to go out as a victor and not as a victim. Victims always focus on what they're going through. Victors look to what and where they're going to. You have to make a decision, and you have to decide in your halftime that you can make a couple adjustments and you can still win the game.